Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us on this Monday morning. You're watching Morning Live. We're taking a closer look at Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. The movie premiered in Rosebank at the Zone last night, and it will be out in cinemas at the 28th of November this month. You'd be a fool to miss it. I'll tell you that. But I won't let you just hear it from me. I'll speak to some of the cast members and the producer as well to tell you a little bit more about this movie. We have Anant Singh with us, and you're the producer who's world-renowned, who needs very little introduction, and also Tony Kgoroge, a very familiar face on South Africa televisions and movie screens. I'm going to start with you, Anant. A long walk to freedom is one thing. There's been a long walk to this film, 25 years in the making. Tell us a bit about the obstacles and the challenges to this.
You know, telling Madiba's story was something that I felt very passionate about, and I started writing to him while he was in prison. He was very humble as usual, and said, you know, would anyone want to see a movie about my life? But I have a friend that introduced me to the world of Mandela more than I knew at the time, and that was Fatima Mir. And she then was authorized by Madiba while he was in prison to write a biography called Higher Than Hope. And when I got to read that, I knew this is a movie. So look, it took a lot longer than I thought it would, but I think you've got to be patient when you're telling a story like Madiba's, and you're doing it on an epic scale from childhood through to president. There were many challenges because it's such an amazing life, and how do you do it in 2.5 hours? And I even thought about it could be 10-hour miniseries. Should that be the way? But I just felt that you have to see it on a big screen. You have to experience this shared moment with 1,000 other people in a dark cinema and feel that magic of Madiba. And that's why it's, one of the reasons it's taken so long. But also to capture the magic of his journey in a very fruitful way.
You have to do it justice. You have to do it justice. Tony, many people complain on that subject of doing it justice. Many South African actors will say, we can tell our own stories better. We will do justice. We need to have our own faces on these movies. Are you happy with the mix of South African and international casts?
Well, I think it's one of the best things that can ever happen to anybody. Just like it happens in football, you have the mixture of all these African players and European players playing together and making the soccer what it is. So I don't see why it cannot be the same with filmmaking. You know what I mean?
And I sat there at some point and I saw the detail in this movie. It was remarkable. This is free advertising for Omo, but I remember growing up and that huge block of soap. It was not real soap, but it was for advertising, and I remember vividly seeing that. So to just capture the detail, the minute details, how did you get that right?
Well, the production designer worked on this film for 10 years. He bought every book that was available about the history. And those were the little things that we just felt we have to do right. There's no reason to get it wrong. And that research and the time all paid off because of that. But, I think when you do Sharpeville, we found a venue, we rebuilt it. We rebuilt the Palace of Justice. We rebuilt Orlando in Soweto, at least in Cape Town, and all of these things because you want to get it right. You want to be able for people to see, and when that camera pulls back and you see the Omo sign and you see the sprawling houses, and the commentary comes over and says segregation, and the moment is all you need to see. But I think, again, when you're doing a South African film of this scale and you're competing against the best in the world, you want to be able to hold your head up high and say, we did it right, or as best as we could.
You play the role, Tony, of Walter Sisulu, and I think captured the essence of what can I say, the tension that was in the air there. But more importantly as well, were your fellow actors there, the supporting roles, the extras, because they had to dramatize it. They had to look afraid when there was fear in that scene. They had to look angry when there was anger in that particular scene. What was some of the interaction like among yourself as actors and also with the extras to say, this is now what we're doing in this scene? Tell us a bit about what happened behind the scene to get that right on air.
Well, usually, on set, you usually have extras there and then the leads there, and others there. But with us, it was a little bit different. You know, we interacted with the extras, we spoke to them, and again, it was also helping Idris as well. You know, just to go get the feel of how people are around us and things like that. And I think they did very well. I mean, we have some natural talent in South Africa, man. You saw those extras; they just look so real on screen. It's not it was amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. I think 2 shots for me that were riveting: the weeping and wailing mothers, lamenting the deaths of their children, and also a very riveting shot of a man running to go and tell Winnie that Mandela has been captured. And you hear the drama and the intrigue. It was absolutely captivating. So that movie, again, I'm reminding you, coming out on the 28th of November. We continue taking a closer look at it in just a moment. Stay with us. A quick break. We'll be back with more.